broadcast, preparing to live stream the meeting. Fingers crossed. And setting up meeting custom, redirecting, and we are live. We are live. Okay, good. So a warm welcome to everybody here. Let me share my screen for the agenda, and that would be stand-up meetings, I think. The screen. You see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the agenda. Yep. Okay. Good. We're all set up. That's the first thing that succeeded today. That's first of all. So we have a few items on the agenda. The most normal things like the action items and some progress that we can have a discussion about. Somebody has to want to add something to the agenda?
No, I think it's all right.
Everything okay? Yep.
Yep.
All right. Good. Then let's go to the action items. We have a few of them, 5 at the moment. So for the 1.2 release, we discussed it last time. Brian, you were not there. You had a problem, I think, or you were at the. It was too late or too morning. Oh, you were in the flight. That's true. Yeah. We discussed about the finer grain control of the syntactic. It's about the validation. It's also on the agenda. It won't be the 1.2 release. It will go in the 1.3 release, or perhaps. It's on the agenda, so we talk a bit later on that. The next one, that is me, to change the FHIR pipeline in Azure DevOps. I did that, and we have now Invariant, a special pipeline that will keep trace on the API packages, the alpha packages. And if there is a new one, then we head off a build and a test. I think we have more than 1,000 unit tests for Vonk, and also because we have the new API, it will also test the API there as well. So we have it succeeded now finally. So we have 1,000 more extra unit tests when we have our new API. So that's very nice. Then Brian, I have you there for the third action item to pull the web API into a separate repository.
Has not been done yet, but I have been doing some stuff around that.
Okay.
So I'm hoping in a week or so. So once I do that, I'll actually just delete it out of the main repo.
Yeah, that was the meaning of it. Yeah, true.
Yep.
Thank you.
Or I might put a little stub in there to say this is now there. Yeah.
Yeah. The fourth one is about targeted meeting from Ewout, and also the fifth one is about from Ewout. I think he delayed that one. Yeah. So we hear that in 2 weeks about from him.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. That were the action items for today. Then the next one on the agenda is the R4 final bits. I can remember the last meeting we were talking about that I had to get the stuff from Brian. He had a pull request, and I put some bits of them in the 1.2 release. I did it already. And there is only one final thing, and that's we have to put the FHIR path from the R4 to the DSG2 package. So we have to change that. I'm doing that today. And then we almost finished for the 1.3 1.2 beta, but perhaps it's not going to be this week, but I have the discussion with Ewout about it when we are going to release the 1.2 beta. By the way, there was a hotfix last week from 1.13. We forgot about the permissive parsing were not copied in clone and in constructor. So that was a bit of a oops. So we made a hotfix for that. So there's also a 1.3 released last week. So only almost done there with the 1.2, which including the R4 final bits.
So when are we going to push that?
Yeah, that's
because I'm really keen for that to go out as soon as practical.
Yeah.
Because there's currently one sitting out there, which I'm sure people are accidentally using, which is from the September Connectathon.
Okay.
So anything we publish is better than that.
Yeah, you're right. But we don't want to have also an incomplete 1.2 version. So we want to have the sort of things out because this permissive parsing was not correct yet. So we did that. Also your pull request, Brian, we had to pull that in. So we've done that now. And there is only 1 or 2 things left. So hopefully we can do that this week. So I have a discussion tomorrow with Ewout about it, and then we going to release it.
Yeah.
But you're right. The one is sitting there. Now it's not a good one. And we have to get a better one out. You're right. Of course, we have the alpha, but nobody knows about it, I think, because I see very little downloads of that. So, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. I hope we can have it out this week. Cool. Yeah, that would be very nice. Then we have some progress on the isolating the POCO dependent code. Georgie is working on that the last few weeks. Maybe Georgie, you can have an update of that.
Yeah. So last week I finally managed to make the code to be successfully compiled. I run all the tests and they're succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
And now, after the discussion I had with Ewout and Marco last week, I've started to look into what has changed between versions. For example, the resource class, because mainly this is the abstract class that we are using everywhere to test the code. And inside POCO classes and parsers and so on, resource is almost everywhere. So the idea is to find out if we can keep resource in the common code, and if we can make resource to be, I don't know, not really version specific. And so far, I've looked between differences in TSTU2 and R4, and I think it's manageable.
Mm-hmm.
There are not many changes. What I'm more concerned about is the invariant constraints. We need to take them out from resource.
Which?
We have a property invariant constraints in resource class, and based on that we have some other methods that are using. The idea is to take out the reference to element definition in resource.
Or make an extension method or something about that, right? Or I thought we had a discussion about that 1 week ago. Yeah.
Yes, but there is a property invariant constraints and then a method, a virtual method at default constraints that is inherited by resource.
Yeah.
And that's a bit more tricky to take out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Currently, that's what
maybe post to the community to see who's using it.
Sorry?
Maybe post to the Zulip chat in the community to find out who's using the invariant constraints.
No, if there is an overload for that, you mean?
As in, if there's no one apart from us using it, so as in inside my server, so the last version I think that I've put through probably makes this irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
So because the normal validator doesn't use this stuff, this was, so I used it in my server up until the validator was doing everything I needed.
Okay.
So there's the potential that this could just be removed if that's the only thing stopping it. So I'd be trying to find out who's using it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, try it from there.
Okay.
Okay. That's not the only thing, but in my opinion, this is the biggest.
Okay, so that's the one who's the most blocking, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if we can get that out of the way, just to, like Brian just suggested, to have a chat in the FHIR chat, maybe we know when the Zulip chat, then we know we can remove it or not, right? Is that the conclusion of this?
Yeah. So yeah, find out if that set of stuff, so validating variants and that collection can be removed. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have to do because there's a code generator actually puts all that stuff in, so I'd have to do a minor tweak to remove it.
Yeah.
No
otherwise we have it back again the next week. Yeah. Yeah, we are doing this just to make our life a bit easier when we are fixing issues and adding some new features to the API, so we don't have double work or triple work with all the releases of the standard. So that's why we're doing this. And I think Brian of Georgia came a long way already with this. It's a solution. It's a very intensive work, but hopefully we're getting somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, I think you were not in the last community meeting 2 weeks ago.
No.
There, I gave some details. For example, some Poco. I don't remember exactly, but we before we were using model info to get some information that we used in Poco Builder and so on. And I've talked about, and I've replaced that model info implementation with a few changes in class mapping. And now we have class mapping in the common code. And I've done some.
The common code separation branch, is that the one?
Yeah. And it's the latest so far.
Okay. So I could look in Git. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have a bit of a look through that.
Yeah, I will have a look at it as well. Well, we're not finished yet, obviously. And this is work in progress still. So, well, hopefully we get some, in 2 weeks we can have maybe finalize it a bit, or I don't know, but we are working on it at the moment. Do you have more to add to that, Georgie?
So far, no.
No. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the special enum value to use when parsing an unknown enum value. I think we had already this discussion about this last times. Brian, is that true, or?
If it was on the last call, obviously I wasn't there.
Of course, yeah.
It's still something that's to be thought of. I haven't had any brainwaves on that, apart from including a special value.
Yeah.
It just seems really strange.
Yeah, is it? Because that was also my thinking, to have a special value for that, like unspecified or something like that. It's of course not in the specification, but it's just for us to know it's not in the specification. But it will be a solution, I think, or not?
Yeah, it's the only real choice there is. Just means we have to change the generated enumerations to have that value.
Yeah, I think every enum enumeration will have that special value added to it, I think, right? That will be the consequence.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't thought that very in detail, but I think that could work.
Is there an issue created for that one yet?
Good question. I don't know. Maybe just have a look. Nothing on that. Don't know if there is an issue about it. Oh, this pull request, by the way. That's not good. Also not. No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe it is. Would this be the one?
Nah, that's
no.
a different one.
That's another one.
So there isn't one for it. Yeah.
Thank you, work listing. So there isn't one, right?
No. All right, I might add one.
I will add an issue for that then.
Okay, you can add it. I'll add comments to it.
Yeah, okay. I will add another one after this meeting.
Yep.
All right. And where is the agenda? Here's the agenda. Okay. The other one, it's still waiting for me. It's the HTTP client, because we had a lot of work on the 1.2 and the 1.1 last time. I didn't have any time to have this to get this ready yet. We have a new HTTP client pull request there, so that will be my doing this week. I won't be working on it, but maybe next week I can start with this one. I have to see what is the planning for this. So no discussion about this one. The other one on the agenda is the discussion of the .NET 4.x. Well, I think we can scratch this out of the agenda, because the only one who wanted to have this is Stratman, and he was not on the call last time and also not on this call. And we in this group already decided not to support it anymore. And it's also been discussed in the issue on the pull request he did. So if everybody is fine with that, I would scrap this out of the agenda for the next time. Yeah.
I'll give him one more week.
Yeah. Oh, we are very kind then. Yeah, maybe give it one more week. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good. Well, then we get the FHIR path normative. I know that Ewout is really was very busy with the FHIR path last weeks. I think there is not a normative out yet at the moment for FHIR path.
No.
It was it was supposed to be in San Antonio, but they postponed it. Well, yeah, a lot of work to that at the moment.
There's still discussions going on around that, as far as I know.
Yeah, I heard about it as well. Also, Graham and Ewout have a bit of discussion about that. So, and because of Ewout is not here in this call, he can't have a progress on it at the moment. Okay.
Yeah. There was action before HIMS, but Brendan and Graham that have been working on it are tied up for HIMS. But their HIMS is done, so they might be back soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some progress. Yep.
Yeah, great. And then the last one, I already talked about it a bit in the beginning. We had a discussion 2 weeks ago about the finer grained control about the validation, about the synthetics checks. Maybe I can have this is the agenda, sorry, this is the minutes. And we were talking, that's the agenda, sorry. I mean this one. Yeah, we were talking about some enumeration about how we do this. Something like this. But Ewout started with this, and it was not easy to do, absolutely not easy to do, because the validation is on several levels. We have some here. If it's more lenient in the validation at parsing level, then the semantic level has a big challenge in the validation. So the assumption on the what do you call that, the semantic level.
When I look at that, empty value is perfectly representable in the DOM.
Mm-hmm.
So the XML order is not representable in the DOM.
Mm-hmm.
And the JSON array is sort of like you're backtracking the intention.
Yeah.
So the empty value one to me is easy, just to say let it through, the normal validations will catch it because it has to anyway. The other two, I think, are parser. You could say strict and fire off against those ones.
Yeah, but we got a big load of other problems when we do this. For example, maybe you have the validation twice on different levels in the parsing and also in the other semantic, in the typed element kind of way. You get double errors then, we don't want it. So we had a discussion with Christian, Ewout and me last week, and we have a strategy, but to have some definition about validation and extract that out and put definitions on or off when we are going to validate stuff. But we thought it was really easy, like one day work, but it's more than 1 week work or 1 day work. So it's definitely not going to be in 1.2. It's going to be 1.3.
The empty value one? The empty value one's the only one I actually care about.
Well, we have the permissive parsing already there.
Yeah.
So that, I think for you it's already okay, I think, Brian.
But does the permissive parser let other things through?
I think it does. Maybe we can have a look. Yeah, maybe you can try it out because it's already in the alpha there.
Yeah.
Or actually you're in 1.3 already, I think. So you can use that for it because there is the permissive parsing also already implemented.
Yeah, I'll have another look.
Yeah, because that helps you out then, because you needed it, right?
Yeah, I've got, so the empty value stuff, I've actually, in my fork, that stuff doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's why my merges are a little different because I have to jump around. I'm trying to get stuff so I don't have to use the separate fork.
Okay.
That's what I'd prefer.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. So, so we talked about it a few weeks ago and now last week as well, and it's going to be a bit more work. We have permission parsing at the moment, so you can switch it on if you want. And it's going to be in 1.3 probably. It's 1.2 is going out, hopefully the better one this week. So that's fine. No. Well, of course, Ewald is not here. He's has more progress to tell you than I can. So it's going to be a bit short meeting. Maybe you have, I have nothing. It's not, there are no more items on the agenda anymore, but if you have something to add at the moment, then say so. Otherwise, we can have another one at 2 weeks, but that will be the American one, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be on that one. Just not going to be, hopefully I'm not going to be on a flight.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, hopefully you're not on the plane at the moment. Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get, in the next 2 weeks, I'll try and get the other changes I've got from 4 back into 2 that's still been sitting on my list of stuff to do.
Yeah. If you need some help, then let us know.
Yeah. Should be all right.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks for the meeting as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.